Did you ever have a stuffed animal that moved as a child? Furbies, trolls, and porcelain dolls are just a few of the toys known to move when you least expect it. They can easily deceive us into thinking that our minds are playing tricks on us. But what if they wink at you? What if they floated before your eyes, or if you could hear them breathe? If I were you, I would put away all stuffed animals nearby, because after this episode, you'll see them in a whole new light. I'm Michelle, your host, and this is Chilean Spooky Tales.
Chilean Spooky Tales.
Story 1. The Dolls. There's something that happened to me when I was like 10 or 12 involving some dolls. They were very old, and truth is that I never knew where I got them from. But they were very realistic and big, like 40 centimeters tall. They weren't the type of dolls that you could find in stores. Some people call them dondo, but they weren't that type. They were way more realistic, had big heads, and realistic hair. For as long as I can remember, I always felt wary around them. I never liked them, and if they were close to me, I would reject them because there was something off about them. Long story short, some years later they were still in my room. One time, I started to feel like they were moving. They were in one place and then appeared in another, and sometimes they would make noises. I'd already been way too paranoid for several days. It was a couple, a boy and a girl, and for some reason the girl was taken to my grandparents' house, and the boy stayed with me. So one day, I got very pissed and grabbed the doll and left it in a corner of my room, hidden, just to make sure that it would stay there. And if it moved, I'd know it right away. One morning, I woke up at about 7 a.m. to someone breathing. It was dark in winter, and I had to go to school. It was like there was someone else in the room, but I knew I was alone. So I got up, and each time I heard the breathing getting louder and louder. I thought to myself, yeah, it has to be the doll. But at the same time, I thought, no, it can't be, and just kept ignoring it. I started getting dressed for school, but every time I walked past the doll, I could hear the breathing closer. I tried to convince myself that it wasn't the doll, but at one point, it was so clear that it was breathing that I wanted to face it. So I got closer and stood right in front of its face. I even felt stupid because I was getting close to its nose. and I could hear how it was breathing. I was frozen in place. At that time, everything was so different, and I was taught to be brave and not let anything scare me. So I didn't want to accept that. I felt intimidated. As I ducked to hear its breathing, I stood up rigid in fear, but trying to act normal, and went downstairs slowly. I don't remember if I ever told this to anyone, but the next day the doll was gone. My dad later told me that he got rid of it because he also found the doll strange. He also mentioned that my grandfather's mom, on my mom's side, used to practice witchcraft, and I guess those dolls were given to me to protect me. You know, when someone gives you things with certain intentions, but they turned out to be something else. Hello.
Follow us for more spooky tales.
Story 2. Alf. When I was a kid, my family had a stuffed Alf. You know, the alien from the TV show Alf. My mom used to tell her friends as a joke that it would appear in different places. And her friends used to tell her that Alf was demonic and that she should get rid of it. One night, I went to my room and sat on my bed to take off my shoes. We had a large window in my room that faced the garden. We had a tree outside, and on the street there was a light pole. So the light pole always cast a shadow of this tree that I could see from the inside. That night, as I was taking off my shoes, I remember seeing the shadow of this Alf crossing the window from right to left without moving, just floating. I knew the stuffed toy very well, so I wasn't mistaking it for something else. It wasn't even walking, it was like floating, and I got so scared that I ran to my parents crying out. And my mom threw it away. As a kid, I wasn't easily frightened. Even my dad tried to scare me sometimes, but it never worked. But that day, when I saw this, it really frightened me. After a while, my dad was cleaning his workshop, where he used to make furniture, and under a pile of wood scraps and sawdust was the Alf hidden away. My mom remembered what I told her about it, so they tore it to pieces and got rid of it. And we never heard of Alf again. Stuffed animals are such a big deal. And I gotta say that this episode took me right back to my childhood. I remember seeing my dad awake in the middle of the night looking for something because he'd woken up to someone talking in the room. Then he found a stuffed Teletubby hidden in the closet that was making strange noises. Of course, it could have been just the batteries, but it was creepy anyway. So, did you like this episode? Make sure to subscribe if you're listening to this on YouTube, and if you're listening on Spotify, follow us for more spooky tales. Have a nice one. Bye bye.